Welcome to Nervous Rex. I'm sitting here with the one and only Jamie Kennedy. Wonderful man, great actor, entertainer, overall good person.
Dude.
You were here, bro.
Dude, stop it.
Yeah. So as usual, before the cameras roll, we start talking about good shit.
Yeah.
So let's go into some of the good shit we're talking about. What should we dive into first? I'm thinking we can talk. We can get to the big picture stuff like marriage.
Yeah, we can do that.
Sex.
We can do
women.
That. Yes.
Let's start off with a little history. You and I have been in this game a while.
A long time. Long time.
What was your first thing? Like, what was your entrance into this? Where are you from, first of all?
I'm from Philly.
Ooh.
Okay. And I came out here in '89.
Ooh.
Crispy.
Crispy.
And like literally, you know, after high school, and I came out here, you know, and I had no idea what I was going to do, what I wanted to do.
No one ever does. Those are the best stories.
And I just wanted to be in the mix.
And you got in the mix.
Right, yeah. So that's how I started.
Okay, did you do stand-up ever? I feel like you did.
I do stand up all the time.
You still do now?
Yeah.
Yeah. But back then, were you? Or
that shows you how good the career is going. He asked me. Jamie Kennedy stand up 25 years. You do it?
Well, dude, remember I got this out, but I'm like, I'm not looking. But
Crispy.
wait, I thought the stand-up came later. You started doing stand-up?
No,
is my question.
I was an extra.
Oh, good.
So I came out. I was an extra. I was an extra in Dead Poets Society in Philly.
I never knew that.
Yeah,
that's the best stories. Okay.
Weirdest break ever. It's a long story before podcast, but I got to be an extra, working at Domino's. Then said I got to move to LA to become an extra. Got transferred to the Domino's out here and tried to become a professional extra. Now, as you know, it's easier to get to the top because everyone's fighting at the bottom.
Right.
So it's like, you know, I don't know if you ever did extra work, but they're like, yo, we need a young person who looks, you know, 18 to 21. Can he play, you know, colonial soldier? Do you have this jacket? And then you're like getting called. So it's like really competitive to be an extra.
Right.
So I was like, what am I doing? So then I did that. But it was really hard, and I had a lot of day jobs. And then I started doing improv. Long story short, a lot of the improv classes got canceled, and then I ended up doing stand-up.
Dude, okay.
Long story.
I've known you for 15 to 20 years, and I never knew that.
You probably know me 20 years.
20 years, I'd say. Yeah, easily.
Easily.
I actually, I wasn't trying to be, but a friend of mine, back in the day, there's a movie called Sister Act. Do you remember that movie?
Yeah, dude, legend. Come on.
So I was an extra in Sister Act 2.
Okay, so you know.
But here's my deal, is that my friend was in the movie as one of the main girls, and she said, come to set. Her name's Sasha Thomas. Remember Philip Michael Thomas from Miami Vice?
Yeah.
Tubbs?
Yeah.
I grew up with his daughter. So growing up with my mom's best friend was the mother of Tubbs' daughter from Miami Vice. So anyway, she was in the business. So one time she's like, come down to LA. I'm from San Francisco. She's like, come check out set. So I came and hang out, and they asked me if I wanted to be an extra. So I was an extra in Sister Act 2, and that was my exposure to everything. It was like, oh, this is lights, camera, action. And then you also learn real quick, it's boring as fuck, and the days are long, and it's not that magic. So, I worked at Domino's.
No.
Dude, yeah, I was a Domino's boy. I knew how to make the dough. Yeah.
Dude, I got fat during that era. I was eating them all the time, yeah.
It's good. I think it's good if you come from, we'll get into Lauryn Hill in a minute. I know where you're going.
She was there.
She was in it. Lauryn Hill was in Sister Act 2, and even more to that point, I remember I was like, who's that beautiful girl? Like, she wasn't just, at the time, just an actress.
Yeah.
Not just an actress, but not Lauryn Hill, the rapper. And I remember her, like, by the makeup thing, and she was, like, writing something down, and she walked away, and I go and look, and I never forget, she had perfect penmanship, and she was writing raps. And she wrote, I drop bombs like that. She was doing, like, these kind of 90s rap style, and I remember thinking, damn, she could actually rap. And I picked up the piece of paper. Had I known, I could have saved that as a memento, because she became Lauryn Hill.
Dude, that's hilarious.
Yeah.
Wow.
You're a man of Philadelphia. You're a man of real work. You have a backbone. You have a penis. You have a spine. You have a skull. You have arms.
I try.
So you're a human who's worked, who understands and appreciates things.
Oh, yeah.
So, did you ever sell candy in middle school by any chance? I always ask people that.
That sounded weird, but no.
No.
Did you ever sell candy in front of a middle school?
No. It's one of those things where a lot of people I meet that have success, they, at the age of 12, were already minded enough to say, oh, I'm going to sell Snickers at school and double my money. I did that.
Really?
Yeah, I sold candy in middle school. And a lot of people, you'd be surprised, I meet, that have success sold candy in middle school as their first hustle.
I didn't do that. I mean, I had weird jobs, but I didn't do that.
Okay.
But I did see that. That was a big thing.
What other weird jobs did you have before you got famous?
Dude, tons. Domino's, Red Lobster.
Ooh.
I assisted a lady who did massages, and I was like,
How did you assist her?
I know that sounds a little funky.
Yeah.
Like make sure she had all of her cloths and her oils ready. Nothing, no hanky panky.
Okay.
I worked catering was a big deal because you
Wow.
can make good money at that.
Was this all in LA or back in Philly?
All in LA.
Okay.
I had tons of weird jobs.
No, but see, that gives you a work ethic because a lot of people come right into this that maybe, like I know a lot of people that come from money, they don't have the wherewithal to understand how the real world works due to them never having to work. So I have had a lot of shitty jobs, so I appreciate everything I get.
See, yeah, but I think that you and I can understand both because you know, I'm not totally knowing your background, but I think you come from hippies, and so it's like, but you still had a normal life, and then got into the game, and then there's people we know that are like us, and then there's people that are very rich that are born in the game, and you're right. So it's a mix, but I think you see a mix of everybody.
Yeah, no, you get a mix of everybody. I just feel that I'm grateful that I didn't come from a lot, so anything I earned feels rewarded somewhat, you know? And this business, it's peaks and valleys, peaks and valleys. I always tell people, like, I wouldn't necessarily recommend my worst enemy be like, hey, dude, move to LA and make it in show business. Like, it's a motherfucker out here. And we're very fortunate we've gotten to work more than 99% of this city. The reality is most of the people out there right now trying to make it. Unfortunately, there's just not enough seats at the table.
No, dude, but yeah, that's a longer convo, but you said you hit the wall. I want to hear what that was.
Okay.
Simon, when we started, he goes, dude, I moved west side, bro. I hit the wall.
Yeah.
That's what I got to hear.
Okay, so yeah, I moved to the west side. If you know Los Angeles.
Santa Monica.
Yeah, I moved to Santa Monica, which is, in Los Angeles terms, very far away from Hollywood and all of its shenanigans. And what happened was, after living here for, let's see, I moved here in 98, so I was here till, this was 3 years ago, so I guess about 17, 18 years of Hollywood and all of its ups and downs and amazing things and bad times and good times. I couldn't take it any longer. I couldn't take driving down the hill to the corner of Sunset and La Brea one more time, to the depression, the desperation in the air. Everybody wants to be famous. Everyone's trying to use you to get what they want.
Yeah.
When people come up to you and they're like, hey man, oh, I saw you, and they just want something from you. Like, I just kind of had this spiritual meltdown where I'm like, I'm out. But I'm not leaving the business and LA. I just got to get out to the beach and decompress. So I got a little apartment right on the water, sold my 3-bedroom house in the hills.
Yeah, you were right over here.
I was up the hill in a fat crib, and I sold the cribbo, and now I got a little apartment, and my quality of life's so much better. And I'm not too removed, but I got out of the matrix, because everyone in Santa Monica isn't an actor. You have people doing real shit, and it's just a different vibration out there. Does that make sense?
No, it totally is. I mean, it's your left. It's to the left.
Well, yeah.
I mean, because you got to come into the town to get into the grind, but it gets good to escape it.
And I got a Prius, so it's easy to zip in and out. I'm a Prius boy.
You went that whole thing.
I went that whole thing.
Wow. I like that
drive?
angle. I have a Prius too.
Oh, wait.
Yo, Prius players.
Prius gang, baby. It's the best LA car in the world.
Dude, it's no class system.
Dude.
But by the way, it hits me from here to Iowa on a half a tank of gas.
And does it, like, also another thing is, I noticed, if somebody like opens my car door and hits the curb and they're like, oh, sorry, I'm like, I don't give a fuck, dude. I don't want a car anymore that I got to worry about if you open the door, it's going to scratch it. I'm over that
dude,
shit.
I don't give a fuck either.
You know what I mean? It's such a waste. I had the Porsche, I had the Caddy, I had the Lexus, I had all the fancy cars, and now I'm a Prius dude.
Yeah.
It's kind of nice to get older. I mean, physically it sucks, but mentally it's kind of nice to let a lot of shit go. Marriage, hot topic. You like that segue?
Dude.
Yeah, dude. Where did that come from?
Because I'm thinking about like what you were saying, because I've known you a long time, and you know, I know your game, and you know my game, and you know there's other games. It's, you know, there's the LA, you know the group, and it's like, I was always wondering if you would ever, why people like us haven't been married yet, you know, and that I can understand why for me, and I can probably understand for you, but we should probably share it.
Let's share it. There's a lot of reasons. First, one of those reasons is in LA, I think it's hard to meet a mom type woman that you're going to settle down with, and it's going to be happily ever after, because the women, just like the men here, are all, you know, very vain, narcissistic,
goal-oriented,
driven, for reasons that maybe aren't the most beautiful. Like, look at me, look at me, look at me, and I'm guilty of it.
Yeah, we all are.
We all are. I always tell people, like, I don't want to date.
Women.
Yep, it's not a sexist thing. I always tell people, like, I'm never going to date an actress again after I had one years ago. I always like to say I'm the only actress in this relationship.
I like that.
You can't have two people waiting for the phone to ring, sitting around all day doing nothing. So it's hard to meet a normal girl that you'd settle down with in Los Angeles. TMZ, 30 Mile Zone, that's what it stands for.
Yeah.
So for me, it's been a matter of, there's some great party girls that are beautiful and have fun with and take off to the desert for the weekend and shenanigans. But as far as like, let's have a baby and settle down forever, I haven't really seen too many of those suitors. Does it apply to a woman, suitor?
Suitor, wow. I wonder if we have to edit that part out. Are we in trouble?
No. Does that make sense?
No, totally. I think it's just like I'm so involved in my own ish that it's like I'm a handful. But it's also like I'm getting to that age where, dude, I'm almost fucking ready to take the blue pill. You know what I mean? Yeah, well, I'm almost 5-0. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. You look good. How are you?
Thank
so what's your age range?
49.
49, dude. Yeah. Dude, you look 39. No, I'm not kidding. I'm not just saying that.
Stop flirting,
baby. You look 39. You're doing good. Because you didn't do the hard drugs.
No, I never really.
You barely drank. You barely smoked weed. You were in a
yeah. I was maybe drink like you know what? I was always at the guy at the bottle, having the bottle or sneaking on the bottle. That was it. I was never at the club. I never tried coke. Not that.
See, that's why you look like you do.
I'm lucky, but I mean, doesn't mean that you can't try it. You know,
right. Maybe you should start in your 50s.
Yeah,
it's time to start.
Never tried H-bomb, which is fine if you want to do it. You know,
time. I think you need to make that turn.
Didn't do ketamine, but weed, you know, and a little bit of vodka.
There you go.
In the tequila.
And now at the end result is you look preserved.
I'm feeling good.
Now, what about women in your life? You've had relationships in the past.
I've had relationships. I've had about 4 or 5 or 6 girlfriends that I thought I could have been married.
Right.
And then I just thought, I don't want to get divorced.
Yeah, you like me. Are you Jewish?
No,
that's a Jewish way of
Catholic, but we're similar in that way. Okay. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I think you're probably a hypersensitive, intelligent person, so you're probably projecting towards the future and thinking, like, do you come from a broken home, if you don't mind?
No, but kind of. Like my parents, or, you know, God rest their soul, they're both dead, but, you know, they lived a very long life. But they were together my whole life.
Okay.
But there is brokenness. Even though we were a unit, there was a lot of dysfunction emotionally.
Yeah, I come from a broken apartment. I just made that up. There's a crack in the wall. Yeah.
Wait, your mom wasn't your mom a hippie?
My mom was a hippie. Now she's not, but my dad is still a hippie. So my dad stayed hippie, and my mom kind of grew out of hippie phase because I'm from San Francisco.
Yeah,
you know, back
you're from the Yay.
I'm from the Yay, baby.
That's legit.
It's legit up there. It's
Too Short raised you.
I'd had Too Short sitting right in that seat, baby. He's the best.
Okay.
So yeah, Too Short, and even Too Short. Speaking of, because he was always in my eyes like my hero, but then I was always in the back of my mind going, wait, should I idolize a guy who just says, bitch, suck my dick, I ain't with no marriage and a wedding ring? And part of me has downloaded that data as a child. I'm like, he's right, fuck a bitch, never get married. And I'm like, no, I don't know if I agree with that. He just had a baby.
Good for 2.
So Too Short got a
Good
little
for
baby,
Short.
baby.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. He
announced it on this podcast.
No.
Yeah, a little cute girl.
He had his shorty short.
And he's like 55. So he had a kid at 55. So all hope isn't lost.
There is hope.
There is hope. I want to have a child. The marriage thing scares me. I don't understand. It's like, hey, I love you, babe. Let's do this. Let's involve the state of California and paperwork and money and rules because I love you so much. It's like, why do you got to do all that?
Yeah, see, I think though, I used to be like, it's just me, the Jamie show, right? And like, as you know, we're all narcissistic. Then I thought like, first it was like the No Show, then it was like the Jamie show, then it was like, maybe the Baby Mama show, and then I was like, no, and then now I'm like, if I'm gonna do it, it's gonna be the family show because I do believe you have to have, if you do have a child, you have to be connected to the woman. So I would actually, it's good, and I was thinking that people like you, people like me, people like in the town that we know, I'm not going to name names, but you know the players who are out here, who are older, that you kind of see in the press that are still single. I think we would actually be better husbands because we're older. We've lived.
I agree. And I think, I noticed too, sometimes I think it might help just give you a little normalcy in this sort of delusional, crazy, fucking world of Hollywood we live in, it would be nice. And I notice a lot of people with success have a family at home.
Yeah.
Like a Jimmy Kimmel or someone, or like a, you know, you see so many people that just have the wife and kids, but yet they seem to have that healthy balance and they don't fly off the rails. A lot of people do. There's something scary about being alone as a man later in life without that home structure, without a little base, because that's when you could kind of get into trouble, for someone like me at least.
I agree with that.
If I'm just left to my own devices, shit could go any direction. If you got a girl at home with a kid, you're gonna be your best version of yourself.
Dude, that sounds good, dude. That's very adult. That makes sense to me too.
But I haven't done that yet. I'm just saying that exists.
Yeah.
I want to have, I think I'm putting it out there right now, I want to have a beautiful child one day to raise, because doesn't that seem like an experience?
You've got about 4 donors about it. I'm just looking at that as YouTube comments.
Oh yeah, that'll be clickbait. There's something else I want to bring up. Here's another reason it's hard to meet chicks, because we have a
Can't
bit
say
of...
chicks, it's 2019.
Oh, bitches?
Damn, he's joking, guys.
I'm joking, ladies.
I'm scared to say anything.
Yeah, I hate that you can't say anything funny anymore. Okay, so my point is that... oh, fuck, I lost it. What were you saying?
You said you want to have a baby with a baby.
Oh, yeah, baby with a baby. And then
you were like, here's why you want to have a baby. You're putting it out there that you want to have a baby someday.
Okay, well, for a few reasons. One of them also is, for me, I think you want someone to take care of you when you're older, selfishly. True. One reason. I feel like that's one of the life experiences. I mean, like whenever I see some guy with his son on the beach and the kid's doing something cute and the dad's laughing, I'm like, oh, I want that. And then when you see the kid crying, shitting his pants, you're like, I don't want that.
No.
So it's like I'm somewhere in the middle. It's like I really want one and I'm really scared.
Yeah.
How do you feel?
It's the same way. Dude, it's so funny that you and I are talking about having kids on a podcast.
Dude, what the fuck is going on? We used to just be killing it in the clizzo.
Yeah, boy.
That shit gets old.
No, dude, it does.
It does. You can't go to the club anymore.
No, I have no desire to go to the club.
You know, I recently...
We've lived.
Well, I think I heard on the radio the cutoff age for a nightclub's 37. So if you're over 37, you can't go to a nightclub. So I'm well past that. So once in a while, I'll get dragged out. Like every 3 months, I'll get dragged out into a club in Hollywood. And I'm standing there and I feel so old because I'm like yelling over the music that I don't know who the musician is anymore. It's some new like trippy, creepy new rapper or whatever. You know, Bobbly Boo Boo.
Yeah.
Oh, that's the new Skimpy Skookoo.
You know, mumble rap. Mumble rap.
Oh, no, that's DJ Googie.
Yeah.
Oh no, that's Liability.
Yeah.
That's a good name for a rapper. And I'm like talking to some girl who's half my age and I'm doing the math and I'm like literally, and everyone's on their Snapchat and I'm like, I'm from the old school, man. We come from the days where shit was real, son.
And where it was private. Oh, it was private. Didn't put that stuff on blast.
No, everyone's a rat.
Dude, some of the stuff. Exactly. Thank you. It's a rat culture.
Everyone's a rat. Bro. Self-snitching and snitching on others. The G code has been violated.
Dude, and they don't even realize it.
No, because they grew up with it, so they don't realize. Like, if you think about this back in the day, if you were to whip out a camera on like a gangster or someone partying, they'd be like, put that shit on. What the fuck are you doing?
Bro, they whip out a camera at 1 a.m. on Laurel Canyon?
Oh
my God. That's fucking suspect. That's grounds.
Yeah, that's grounds. Yes, and that shit's everywhere now, and it's like...
Dude,
so I'm doing a social media break.
No, so tell me about that.
So,
this is crazy. So Simon told me, you told me before you left that you took this break.
I am an addict. I have addictive personality. It's hard for me. Like if I quit smoking weed, I'll quit for a year. And if I'm smoking, I'm smoking. Same with social media. If it's in my pocket, I'm going to look at it. It's very addictive. So me and my buddies back home did a bet. No social media for 1 month. Delete it off your phone. Can't do it on your home computer. Don't look at it. So I'm on day 8, no social media, and it's funny because I was like in Catalina the other day, like,
getting there?
Yeah, you go through these. No, you just go through these things where you like want to film something to share it, like you feel some weird need to brag about where you are on your Instagram. Because I was in Catalina and I wanted to like do a clip of the beautiful harbor. And I'm like, well, why don't I just enjoy it? Because why do I need to post that on social media instead of just enjoying the view? And it's kind of nice to just go back to 2004 before everyone had a fucking streaming device in their pocket and you just enjoy life.
Yeah.
But I have to force myself to stop.
Dude, how crazy is it for people listening right now to realize that you have to be your own fucking marketing team? It's like not only do you rap, do you have to write the rap and perform the rap. Back in the day, people would take care of all the other stuff. Now you gotta publicize the rap. You gotta get other people to talk about your rap video or whatever you're doing or acting. And people, it's just bizarre. Everything has to be documented. It's a weird time.
It's a weird time, and I try to embrace it and not, obviously I'm just taking a break, and social media has been good to me because I work with, like we were talking about, Rudy Mancuso and Hannah Stocking and those guys that are killing it, and I work with them, and it really does help you get your numbers up because that translates to more ticket sales. Everything feeds itself, so it does make sense. And you're right, I go on tour now, and the promoters in each city, they are texting my agent going, hey, Simon needs to promote this more on his Instagram. And it's like, what did we do before this? How did you sell tickets before I had an Instagram? How did you get people in the fucking... You put up flyers around town and you did your job, but now the promoters have gotten lazy because they expect me to promote it all.
Yeah.
Which is fine, but again, when I'm promoting a show in Kansas City, 99.9% of the people following me don't give a fuck about my Kansas City show.
Yeah.
So you kind of like... It just becomes this weird thing, but it's a necessary evil.
It's so interesting because you were talking about before how we got on the radio or the pod, I'm sorry, how we come from a different time. And now how everyone is kind of in Hollywood. And somebody said this the other day. Let me ask you this question. Now I'm also interviewing Simon.
No, I like that this is a conversation.
Do you think that this guy opens for me. He's so smart. And he said that what's the word? Specialness is gone. Or what is it? The exclusivity is out the window. Mm-hmm. Do you agree with that?
In what sense?
Well, there's only a few, what I call rare pandas left in terms of movie stars.
Oh, yeah.
But it's like, if you're not, like I'm doing a podcast with you now. If I don't do another podcast at 3:30, I'm out of the business.
Right.
I mean, you literally got to be doing shit every hour, right? And so is the new thing to be everywhere or is it to be exclusive? You and I grew up exclusive. Yo, we got that Entertainment Weekly piece. Boom, you're in this and nothing else. Now it's like you got to be in 25,000.
When I also think now there's 25,000 places to be, whereas before you just had MTV, you had a couple magazines, you had, nowadays there's so many outlets that you need to fill those spaces just to, get content out there. So it is obnoxious. It's a necessary evil. And if you don't roll with the times, you will suffer. So you just got to do it. I feel like the old guys like, oh, back in my day, we had agents handpick us and put us in a thing. We had a thing called holding deals where they used to pay me to not, like I used to get holding deals, bro, on networks. They'd be like, okay, Simon, we're going to give you X amount of money. Don't audition for any other shows for a year. And I just sit back like this, collecting checks, doing nothing. Holding deal, bro.
Yeah.
And now you can't get money on TV to save your life unless you're like top.
Yeah.
So yeah, TV's slowly dying, but like streaming's obviously getting bigger. I think television's eclipsing film in the sense that the quality of streaming content and television's better than most movies. I remember there was a time 15 years ago where a movie star couldn't do television. Do you remember that shit? Like I'm sure when me and you were doing Scary Movie 3 and you were doing The Mask and you were doing, Malibu's Most Wanted, your agent would be like, oh, you can't go do a guest spot on a TV show.
No way.
Now it's wide open.
Yeah, dude, it were like, you would be offered TV and you'd be like, no, man, I'm movie gold.
See, I never was that guy. I just happened to get a couple like studio films, the Scary Movie franchise, which was good to me, and a couple other movies, but I always did primarily television. So I kind of went the other way, like did a couple movies, but stuck to the TV world, which was, dude, a sitcom is the best show in town.
Best gig, yeah.
You're in your pajamas all day, 4 days a week, and then you go to a live play on Friday night, and if you fuck up, you could do it again.
Yeah, it's the best.
And you're getting paid so much fucking money. If I like... Yeah, I can't believe how much money I was making back then. I bought a fucking house like that 1 year on a show. I bought a house like that. Shit's hard to come by nowadays.
Was it Jack and Jill?
No, that was it was called What I Like About You.
Amanda,
it was Amanda Bynes and Jenny Garth, and I did 2 seasons of that. And it was right around the time as Jack and Jill and Felicity. So I was just the WB guy for a minute. It was you know how it is when you're the shiny new guy. Like I came from MTV, so I was the shiny new guy from MTV, and then you get a few gray hairs, and it gets harder to get work.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? You're just not the shiny new guy anymore.
Yeah. No, but you were all over the WB back then.
I was that white boy, dude.
Yeah, you were. And then I kind of came a little after you.
You did. Was that the Jamie Kennedy experiment?
The Jamie Kennedy experiment started in 01-ish.
Okay.
But you were there like 98, though.
I was there. 99. No, I moved. Yeah, you're right. I moved here in 98. So
I remember you on MTV. I had a pilot in like 95. But I think you were on MTV, weren't you?
96, 97.
Yeah, right around it, because I would see you like for Scream Junkets, and you would be down there, and you were interviewing everybody.
Yeah, that's right, exactly. So, okay, so to date, would you say What's when you get stopped on the street? What do most people know you? Malibu's Most Wanted seems to be a cult hit.
That's a big one.
People love that one.
Yeah,
people think I'm you a lot. I swear, people come up to me and they don't. Their brain doesn't understand that.
Really,
a Scary Movie rapper guy. They think I'm just a white guy acting black from Scary Movie as you.
There's a few of us. There's a group of us. There's you. There's me. There's Michael, who's the OG.
Yeah.
But then there's real rappers now. There's Logic. There's G-Eazy,
right.
There's Lil Dicky, who are, actual rappers.
Right.
And then there's The Lonely Island, who are good rappers, but they're funny. I was always just having fun with it. You're a good rapper, but you have fun with it. Right. So it's like, I think people always, they do that. There's a group of us. But Malibu, Scream, Jamie Canning Experiment, a lot of different things. Heckler. Mm-hmm. But I would say Scream is a big one.
I was in Heckler.
Yeah, you were.
Yeah, I was in the very end. I was in like one little clip.
What was that clip again?
I forget. I think I was talking to one, because I tried stand up a few times, and I believe I just told a heckling. I can't even remember, but yeah, I was your boy. Who's your boy that produced that again? With you?
Michael Addis.
Yeah. And he came to my house in Laurel Canyon. We just got one little clip for your movie. So, yeah, anyone listening out there, go check out Heckler. That was a cool little that was a documentary, obviously.
It's a documentary about how like, because at the time when I was doing it, was like 06, and it was like, remember when before blogs existed? Mm-hmm. But it was like when like, I was talking about how like people would heckle in clubs, and it was fascinating because they would always say one or two things, and I started filming the heckles. And they were really funny, and I started stringing them together. And then I started interviewing other comedians and their funny heckle stories. And then at the time, it then evolved into like blogs and like reviews of movies. Around 05, 06, movie reviews weren't like, Mr. Rex plays a young strapping man who wants to win the love of his wife. But it would be like, Mr. Rex, now the skeleton wild body. I mean, they like attack you. Like, right. Mr. Kennedy is not only not capable of being in this movie, his mother should have never had him. I mean, they take so many.
Which is, in all fairness, true.
The potato-faced, rosy-cheeked Kennedy. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's gotten a lot meaner, I feel.
Well, it's like, yo, dude, it's like just talking about the fucking acting.
Yeah.
But that's what the movie came out of. I was like, yo, is this like critical, or is this just like fucking...
Yeah, it's gotten a lot meaner. I feel like it's gotten a lot more like high school. And you do stand up a lot now, yeah? You tour on the road a lot?
Yeah.
And what are some of the spots? Doing stand up, is San Francisco one of those cities that's tough because everyone's so PC? Because I heard that.
I have good times. You're from Oakland?
I'm from San Francisco and Oakland. I grew up in both. So I'm Bay Area. I lived in San Francisco till I was 11, and then I moved across the bridge to Alameda, which is adjacent to Oakland. But Oakland sounds tough.
Dude.
So if I'm around black people, I say I'm from Oakland. I should try to be cool with them. Yeah. But if I'm around gay people, I'm from San Francisco.
Yeah, you're from the hate.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Wait, so you're from the Castro.
I'm from the Castro.
Yeah. San Francisco is one of my favorite cities.
Great city.
And it's Cobb's is amazing.
Cobb's.
The Punchline, which I hope is still open, but they might close it, is amazing. So it does. It's weird, bro. It does get PC, but then you got a lot of like, gangsters, pimps, players that don't give a shit about that.
Right.
So I think it's. But you definitely get people from Los Gatos. You know what I mean? And and people who don't understand that. But you get it.
Yeah.
So, but it's a mix. I think it's a mix. Like people like you that are totally open for everything, and then people like.
Yeah, there's a lot of San Francisco from what I've heard from other comics, because I've tried stand up and I never got too into it. I
Dude,
feel like
you would
that's
kill.
I feel like
you
it was.
Would kill.
Well, when I go do Dirt Nasty shows, I make half the show is me doing improv with the audience. So I'm on stage with a mic and I'm getting laughs and I'm bringing people on stage and I'm coming up with jokes. So I get it out of my system. And then when all starts to get weird, I hit play on a song that everyone knows. So it's kind of like this safe format. I got the safety net.
Yeah.
So I could try some material out there.
Yeah.
But I've been thinking about getting up on stage and doing stand up again. It's just such a fucking rough circuit. I've tried it before and it was just like all the other comics are miserable. They all don't like me because I've already made it. I noticed this weird tension from like, and that wouldn't happen at the store, obviously, but I was doing open mics, so it was all these aspiring comics. They're like, fuck this dude, he's already in Scary Movie, why is he trying to do this, Yeah. That's the vibe I got, but maybe that was just me insecure.
No, I think you'd kill it. I think you know everybody.
I had a couple jokes. You want to hear one?
Yeah, lay 'em on me.
I came out, I said, hey man, LA, tough town. Who do you got to sleep with to get laid out here? Grandpa jokes, okay? Wait, what's another one I had? God, they're just all like Rodney Dangerfield one-liners. Yeah. Oh, I'm so racist, I need to take white power naps.
All right. Yeah. I mean, I can see that joke, but you can't.
Can't say that anymore.
But damn.
No, because I'm Jewish, so I don't really have white power.
He's Jewish. You can do it.
Oh God, I had a cheat sheet of them that I still have. I found it when I moved recently, and it was like my cue card of just bad jokes. Yeah. So you could see why I don't do stand-up anymore.
No, dude, you could just get up there and let the audience come to you.
Yeah, I noticed Theo's very good at. He has a certain Southern charm. Theo Vaughn, who we both love. He's got a flow. His flow is so natural. It sounds incredible. Like he's talking. Like when I talk to him, hanging out, and you know,
Theo can just be like, so yeah, listen, man, I'm gonna do that thing. How you got? He can literally be off stage, take that conversation right into this, and it makes you feel like the audience is like part of his life. Yeah, it's just beyond natural.
Yeah, he's got a natural thing, and he's another MTV boy. He came from The Real World or Road Rules or one of those. Did you know that he was on? Yeah. That was his entrance into showbiz. He's like a reality show guy. So I love seeing that shit happen because he's. Theo Vaughn, I just love that guy so much, man. Yeah, I root for him, but he's one of the few comics. My point being,
he's one of the best.
That doesn't have a lot of darkness. I mean, he has a dark side. Don't get me wrong. There's a darkness to him, but he's generally a sweet guy. But a lot of comics, their comedy comes from pain. So I noticed the comic circuit wasn't as much fun as I thought it would be. It was more like, damn, this shit's kind of dark.
Wait, well, comedy is, man, because it's like, why do you think people are up there trying to get love?
Because mommy, look at me.
Yeah,
I get it. And on stage, it's magic. And I feel like black comics are generally more happy.
Yeah,
they're celebrating life, and tortured white Jewish comics are just self-loathing.
Could be.
And I'm not being racist. It's just it's an acknowledgement.
No, you were being positive.
Yeah,
you were being positive towards black comics, right, absolutely. And racist toward your own.
Exactly.
What I would say is that comedy is this. No comedian really wants to be funny. They just want to spout truth, and then they put the humor to make it digestible.
Oh, interesting.
That's my opinion.
Okay.
And because most comics are people that would be at Starbucks going, motherfucker, scone, fucking bullshit, government. You know what I mean? Like that's how I feel that a lot of comics are. And the second thing is comics have this weird duality. They're so confident that they stand in a room and go, look at me. And they're so insecure that they need you to look at them.
Wow. Interesting. Did you make that
facts.
up?
Yeah, I made that up.
That's a good one.
Right?
Do you have that? Is that you?
Definitely.
Okay.
But not so much is now. Like, I did it for attention in the beginning. And then I did it for the love. But I was never like wanted to be a comedian. I mean, I'm not going to be a dickbag by saying this, but it was not, people kept telling me, you should try stand up. You should try stand up. You should try stand up. You know what I mean? And after a while, I did it. I tried it, but I didn't know what the fuck it was.
At first, was it a rough process to get going? Oh, right, isn't it? It's the
worst.
The nerves when you wake up in the morning and you know you got to go on stage, and because we're used to reading like, stand here, read this, wear this, say it like this, so you just kind of do what you're told.
Yes.
And with stand up, you're gonna have a direct response to what you wrote. It's so honest and raw.
It's just yourself. When you're broke and you have nothing and you go to an open mic and then you bomb, you feel worse than when you started.
That's fucked up.
You have nothing. And then, but when you get one little tiny fucking laugh, you're like, I'm onto something. And your self-delusion is enough to propel me. And so I was very self-delusional. So if I just get a snicker from you, I'd be like, oh, I'm fucking Rodney Dangerfield. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I just needed the teeniest amount of encouragement.
Well, and I think our intentions are there. Like in doing this social media break, I genuinely do miss, like I feel like my purpose in life is to make people smile and laugh. And when I go on tour, like I just did a tour with Mickey Avalon and we went into the trenches of America, Kansas City, St. Louis, Detroit, fucking Pittsburgh. You know, we're in those cities and we get to put smiles on 500 faces and go home. It's almost like a comic. We give people a good time. And I feel like I have worth and I have a purpose because I came and provided entertainment for somebody who probably needed it for that hour. So that's my purpose. So stand-up does make sense. You know, I feel like I have the life of a comic because I'll go home. I'm sure you know this one. Like you'll go kill, you'll be in some town in Phoenix and you murder it and you have 500 people wanting to suck your dick and then you're sitting alone in a hotel room and it's quiet. And you're just like,
people don't realize that.
You know what?
They don't realize that.
Because you can't realize it until you know what that's like. And there's so much energy coming at you that it's emotionally so draining that you're physically fine because you're just standing around and sitting on an airplane and you might go to the gym, but you're physically fine. But emotionally and mentally, that shit rings you out because there's all these eyeballs on you, everyone wanting you.
Yes.
And then you're just sitting alone in a room trying not to watch you porn. You know, it's just it's fucked up.
Dude, it's funny, but then sometimes you'll participate in that after party, but I haven't been doing that for a while.
No, Too Short taught me that. He goes, never, because we were doing a show once and someone tried to come up and smoke a joint, and then we did, and the guy's like, let me get your number, and Too Short goes, that's why you never hang out with your fans after a show. You hit a joint, it becomes a phone number, then they're calling you, and then you go into their apartment. He goes, don't do it.
Yeah.
He goes, do the show and get the fuck out of Dodge, and he's right.
He's right, yeah.
Yeah, man, that's a real one. You know that movie, A Star Is Born? Did you see that movie?
Yeah.
Okay, do you remember the very beginning? He like rocks it on stage, and then he like gets into his limo and closes the door, and he sips his bottle, and it goes from like, and he closes the door, and it's just quiet, and he's just in there with his driver.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's the moment I'm talking about. When you go back to your hotel room, I mean, obviously a smaller scale than that, but you know, it's just, then you're just alone with your thoughts. Steve Martin mentioned it in his autobiography. He's like, it's the weirdest thing. You go home after and lay there alone.
Steve Martin, I had actually, it's funny you brought that up because so I did Bowfinger.
That's right. You were in Bowfinger.
And he told me one of the greatest lines ever. And he was the first, for me, I don't know anyone who was bigger than him. He was the first rock star comedian. Right, he was the first guy to play.
Selling out arenas and stuff?
Yeah. He was the first one.
He was
in the history.
He was, right? And that must have been late 70s? What?
And he, 20,000 people. And so you and I are thinking, and at that time I was like 27. I'm like, how was it like, And he was like, I was like, it was a wild groupies. And he was like, it was like being a rock star without the groupies. And the thing is, and it makes so much sense, and I saw it when I was on Bowfinger, that so many people tried to get him so much, and it was so intense that he literally would do this show. People would go so crazy for him that he would just go back to his room. He couldn't walk in the hallway of a hotel, and so he was constantly performing isolation. That's what he told me. I mean, that's what I kind of got from that vibe. So I was like, wow, he didn't want to or couldn't even take advantage of it, and so that was fascinating to me.
Yeah, that is fascinating, and he's
because you and I we had good times. I mean, let's not be honest. We're not always in our hotel room, going.
No, I'm not complaining.
But I'm in that place now too, where I'm just like, no, I do my show and I bounce, and it's like exactly like you said.
I want to be watching, I want to be watching Cops alone in a hotel room and order some room service
now
and be
live,
alone.
Now live PD.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, exactly. That's or like Forensic Files is my go-to. It's something about like, and I had to make myself stop watching Forensic Files when I went to bed because I'd be having these horrible nightmares because as you're falling asleep, your subconscious is hearing, and the DNA found the murder suspect with a decapitated dick, and you're just like dreaming about. So you gotta be careful.
That
took a dark turn.
Wow.
So yeah, stand-up comedy. I remember the few times I did it. I'd wake up in the morning of the show, and it was almost the same feeling as that movie 3 O'Clock High. Do you remember that movie where the guy had to fight after school? So the whole movie takes place in one day of the nerves of this nerdy guy about to get beat up by the bully. That's how I felt when I did stand-up 20 times. I'd wake up in the morning and immediately felt sick because I was going to go on stage 14 hours later and bomb.
Wow. Yeah, no, dude, those are all real feelings. Those are all real feelings. Look, you don't have to do it. I'm just saying,
no,
this person who does it, you could do it.
I appreciate it.
And you could murder it. You're a naturally funny dude. You're hilarious.
I appreciate you. So you write all your own stuff, obviously.
I have some help.
Okay, that's good. Because it's almost, is that a thing like in rapping where like, Drake will get dissed, like, you don't even rap your own shit, but like, who gives a fuck?
I don't give a shit. Yeah, but that's crazy.
Yeah, as long as you're not stealing jokes.
No. I mean, like, I'll have a premise. A lot of stuff I do myself, but like comics will come up to me all the time, give me one line,
flesh it out,
add it up, or another comic I'll run it with, and he'll be like, "Yo, try this." So no, I definitely sometimes collaborate. Right. I have no problem with rappers collaborating.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, but no, I mean, I mix it up.
Yeah, I didn't know if there was sort of this, essence of the rule that you have to write your own shit. I'm not sure how that works because I've heard Kevin Hart got shit for having other people write shit, but it's like, who gives a fuck, man? Those people are probably just bitter because he's at the top.
Dude, Kevin Hart has a machine to fill. Yeah, I mean, he's selling arenas, so it's like if he wants to get writers, let him.
Yeah, who gives a fuck?
I don't give a shit. Like, it's, but there are purists out there, and those are great too. I mean,
Yeah, whatever gets you through the day. Now, what about, who are some of your favorite comics growing up and now? Like, who would you want to go see? Okay, here's two-part question.
Oh, this is tough.
Back in the day before that's maybe passed away, what legend or stopped doing stand-up, i.e. Eddie Murphy or someone, or who now would be your favorite comic to go see that you love that kills every time?
Well, dude, I mean, to me, I was raised by Eddie Murphy. And that was like the guy who hit me at my, 9, 10-year-old, 11-year-old self, and I was just always doing imitations. I love Rodney, Joan Rivers, Sam Kinison. Just those are just some of the people. Then I got into Bill Hicks. Then I got into Carlin. Obviously Pryor, but you can't say his name anymore. But Bill Cosby, but he was great back in the day. You can't say, Then I got hip to Ellen. So there's a lot. But I mean, the base of the mid '80s comics. Saget. There was something called HBO Young Comedian Special, and it's like a legendary special. And it had
Saget's the best. I love that guy.
He's the best. So it's like it's.
So those are the sort of the legends. Now, right now, who's killing it the most? That is on fire. That you love. That anytime you're at the store, anywhere on top.
The store.
Sebastian, you like Sebastian?
Oh, Sebastian's
he makes me laugh every time, no matter what he does.
I mean, look, you got all the fucking killers, right? You got Theo, you got Dalia, you got Whitney, you got Eliza. I just did a show the other night, and I had to follow Mark Maron. Oh wow. He's like so fucking smart. So I mean, there's just a mix. But then I've got people I came up with like Nick. You know what I mean? Like
Swartzen might be one of the maybe arguably top 3 funny human beings I've ever encountered on this planet. He in real life as well as on stage is he's an alien because he's just no matter what he does or says, he makes you laugh. Like
he's always been giving me jokes since he's like 20. You know what I mean? And he was just we started when I met him. He was hosting the Tempe Improv, and I was middling. Wow. And then he was hosting, and I was like, he would murder. And I'm like, I got to follow the host.
So wait, you've been doing stand-up how long now then?
I started in 91.
Oh my God.
Yeah, so you didn't really know. This is good history.
I knew, in my mind, and my mind doesn't work very well, but in my
Tweaker
mind.
Rodrigo?
Yeah, exactly. In my mind, you had done stand-up more recently, and I thought this was sort of an evolution of your career was in stand-up, but you've been doing it that long.
No, so I came out here, I did all that stuff like we said in the beginning. Then I auditioned. Like, I didn't think you should take classes or any of that shit, right?
Right.
So then I auditioned, and I got part of an improv group, and I was actually making money. It was some local group, and we would go to schools and restaurants and make like $25 a show, which was good money, right? A couple shows a week, right? Anyway, they went down, and there was all these places you could join, like Second City and the Groundlings and stuff, but I didn't really have any money. And that's in 1990, early 91, somebody said, you should try open mic. I did that, and then I did open mic pretty much in a spot here and there and potluck at the store from like 91 to 95.
Okay.
And then I started just getting acting work. Like, people would go to the clubs. I got a commercial agent, and then I got my first guest spot on, Married with Children spinoff called it was Unhappily Ever After.
Oh, yeah.
And so I started working, and then I got very busy. So from 95 to like 2000, I was crazy busy, and I would only do really stand up once in a while. And then in like 99, I got a new agent. She's like, I'm just going to send you to colleges. So then I started going to colleges, but I only had
that's the money gigs, right? Oh. That's what Swartzen always tells me. Like, he'll go on the road and just be laughing and come back and buy Nobu for everyone. I'm like, what is it? Like, I just did a college tour.
It's crazy. So that's when I really hunkered down, but I only had like 20 minutes.
And do you find that to be your like, is that the most rewarding thing to you? Is what's better, like killing on stage, or the feeling of booking? You get the phone call and you book a guest spot on a TV show. Like, what's the best feeling?
I mean, dude, I look at you like me. Like, I think you're a creative person. You know what I mean? And I think I'm a creative person. Like, I'm not a rapper, but I fuck around with it. I'm a comedian, but I'm an actor. You're an actor. So we do a lot. So, I mean, to me, it's like killing in a club is incredible. Incredible. But also being in a movie at Man's Chinese at a premiere and having people laugh at a joke and seeing Keenan Ivory Wayans in the back laughing is incredible. You know, doing a TV show and having, you know, amazing review and people is incredible. So it's
all different.
It's all different. But I mean, yeah, obviously doing funny shit is funny.
There's something about the live response that there's an energy in the room that's magic. Like I don't really get it with comedy as much as like sometimes I'll be on stage and I'll do a song and the room just reaches this fervor pitch of electric energy where it's almost orgasmic, and that's the magic shit. That's what it's all about. That's what keeps me coming back. And as well, I just know you're like me. You genuinely are in it for the right reasons. Like you just want to make people laugh. You know? Yeah. You genuinely just want to put smiles on faces, and that's what we're doing here.
I mean, dude, like I don't think like there's no way I could exist in the real world. I've been doing this since I'm 19. Yeah. You've been doing this, I think, since you're about the same. And it's like
I don't know what else I'd do.
You couldn't.
Yeah.
You couldn't.
Especially at this point.
Yeah, but we're like weird llamas.
Yeah, we are.
You know what I mean? Like, where are we going to fit in? It's like, I couldn't have. And people were telling me to do it.
Yeah.
And so it's like.
Right.
And now I do it for different reasons. Now I do it because I don't know why you started doing it, but I did do it for like the attention and this. And then, you know, I started getting breaks and it felt like a good creative outlet. But now I just do it because I don't know what else to do, but I also do really enjoy the art of it. Like all the stuff that came, I had a great time with it. I'm not saying I don't want to do that stuff anymore, but it's
the process.
Yeah, like the Maxim parties. That was always good.
Those were fun.
You know what I mean? And dude, people don't understand the days like at the mansion. Come on.
Oh man.
I've seen you in the grotto.
Oh yeah.
But they don't.
So yeah, we were in the mansion.
The happiest place on earth. People think it's bad, but we should talk about it. But so it's like I didn't do it for that, but those were always great perks.
The byproduct of what we do is very nice.
But now, but I don't even care about that. I mean, I do, but now I just like if I can do a good scene and people like it.
Yeah.
I know that sounds so annoying.
No, but I know what you mean. You're right. No, Playboy Mansion.
Oh.
Okay, so I don't know if you remember this, but when Hugh Hefner got divorced in like 2001, I want to say, is when my buddy Rick Calamaro, rest in peace, was his mom lived in the Playboy Mansion, so he had the access to get on the list. So as soon as Hef got divorced, the town got a buzz because they're like, oh shit, is the Playboy Mansion going to come back? Maybe it was 2000.
No, I think it was 99.
99? Okay, well look, around
That's why I think I saw you 20 years ago.
Fuck. And I remember as soon as I got on that list, I was like, oh my God, I'm on the list to the Playboy Mansion. And I rolled up in that motherfucker. And I remember seeing Jim Carrey breakdancing. I remember seeing someone having sex in the bushes.
Yeah.
I remember seeing someone come out with coke all over their nose. And I know you were going through a weird phase.
Yeah.
No, and I just saw all the cliche. I just saw all the cliche things that you're like, this is exactly what I heard about my whole life. And it's here in the most beautiful women in high heels.
Dude, here's the thing is that people don't realize what the Playboy Mansion is. And it's like, again, I don't want to violate the G code, but we can talk a little bit about it. But exactly, it's the opposite
Nobody's
of what
listening.
It's what you think is going on now is the opposite. We didn't talk. Nobody said shit. And everybody went in. And it's 4-1. And it's like me and Simon were probably the youngest guys there by 40 years. It was two guys in the late 20s and then late 60s to 83. Right? There's always Don Adams from Get Smart.
Right.
And then you get the people peeping, Scotty Conn.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh, yeah.
And so but dude, were you ever miserable there?
No.
Okay. Did you always get
just when I had to leave?
Dude, prime rib.
Oh,
at 4 in the morning, he brought it the second meal. Too short on the mic. I saw Diddy. It just everyone was happy. We played volleyball. Dude, Fred Durst in the grotto. What's up, doggy? Like, people don't understand it. No one was miserable.
No
one was miserable. He really did create something, and everybody wanted to be there. And if people wanted to do it, toot. Toot up, right?
Dude.
If you want to take a pill, pop a pill.
There was no judgment, no cameras. And there was a strict rule, no cameras. So everyone was on their worst behavior. Yeah. So you'd walk in there and you'd see like your heroes, like the biggest celebrities getting fucked up. And you're just like, I'm in heaven right now.
Wait, I got to tell you something. I hope I'm not violating the code. So the funniest is the parties got less because it was Hef's, for people listening, Hef's mandated parties are the ones. There's only two parties to go to.
Right.
Midsummers, which is incredible, and Halloween.
Yep.
And so I had a great one time. I went into the place in the Halloween maze one time with Forbidden, but nothing crazy happened. But remember Forbidden from MySpace? She was so sweet. That's why I met her.
I don't remember.
Forbidden. She was like the first big MySpace girl.
Okay.
So, but she was just so sweet. But so, what was I gonna say? We were just
So you were
talking
saying you were going to the maze with her? Or
no,
this is-
before that.
You were saying...
So Hef they would rent out the mansion,
Right, for
to
other
like
parties,
corporate.
yeah.
You know, I don't want to be an asshole, but like sometimes I call corporate dorks,
Right.
And so they would be like, "You and I are lucky to be in the life. You know, we're part of it. But if you don't do this every day, people come in here and we let off steam. They're just like, right? And so these guys will come in from an insurance seminar and they'll be at the Playboy Mansion and they'll be going absolutely batshit. So I was like, went in there because you know Ron Smith, Uncle Ron, he always calls you and he's like, Farmers Insurance, everything, come down. So I went down and there's some like, this is the craziest shit I've ever seen. And I've seen some crazy shit there. There was some like fat, can I say fat, insurance claim adjuster in the grotto. Some dude with like 3 secretaries, right? So I walk in the grotto. I'm like, I'm having some tea. I'm like, I'm going to chill and just maybe like get my back rub on. And he's going down on like Mabel from accounting and doing this and he's a normal dude. And that's all I hear. And she's like, oh, right. And I'm like, yo, I go, I'll come back. And the dude, he looked around and he's like, get the fuck out of here. Dude, it was not anyone you recognize. It was just some dude from Iowa that was part of this group. And I was like, people get celebrities have a bad rap. No, it was the dude from Iowa.
Right.
And I cried laughing.
Oh, dude, that's incredible. I wish I had a better memory.
Am I allowed to say that story?
Yeah, you could say
Am I
that.
in trouble?
Yeah, no, yeah, Mabel's going to get some shit with her husband. I feel that the Playboy Mansion in its prime, or for not in its prime was probably before when we were children in the 70s and 80s was probably really the prime. But we got a taste of it at the end. At least we got to see what it was like, a microcosm. And I remember just looking around, and it's not really the kind of women that, you know, you're going to say, and then no offense to any playmates out there, but it's not the kind of girls you're going to bring home to mommy.
Oh, come on. There's some sweeties.
There's some sweeties, but it's really within those walls, man. Some of the fucking, I remember there's like those bedroom cushion rooms where there's, and then I remember towards the end, okay, so here's a funny story. I got banned from the Playboy Mansion.
Yeah, I remember I was playing ball with him one time.
Wait, what are you, on basketball?
Yeah, we were playing a pickup with Ely, but also I think it was West Hollywood Park. One night we were playing ball, and I go, you going to the mansion tonight? And you go, no, doggy, I got a ban. And I think I know why, so I'll let you say it.
I'll explain why. I feel like I'm a good friend.
No, you dipped in the fucking captain's log, I heard.
Wait, what?
I heard
what
you fucking, you know, got high off a Hef's supply.
No, oh, like I hooked up with one of the girls?
No, that's what I heard, doggy.
I mean, I did, but that's not why I got banned. So what happened was, I let one of my boys, every time I started to get cocky and I was going there, I'd give one of my homies that kind of looks like me, brown hair, green eyes, I'd give them my ID.
Yeah.
And I'd say, you go ahead, go in, say you're Simon Rex, go in, and then I'll show up 10 minutes later and they'll be like, you're already in. I'll be like, wait a minute, I'm Simon what? And then they'll know. So then I was running that racket for a while. And I was circulating different, all my friends would fight over whoever had like brown hair and green blue eyes.
That's currency. I don't know. You did a really good solid.
Well, I got about 5 different friends in over a 3-year period, right? And they got me on camera doing it in the garage at UCLA Shuttle. They got me on camera giving the card to my boy and then me going and raising a fuss when I wasn't on the list or I was marked off. So I finally got caught. And I forget the woman's name who worked there, like Liz or something. She's the woman who did the list. And I sent her flowers for about 2 years to apologize and say I was just hooking up my boys, this and that. And she's like, you're done. Wow. And I was like, okay, well, I got to share it with my friends. I sacrificed my own good time. I had my times there. And then eventually Too Short got me back on the list.
Wow.
Because he was working with Kendra, who was a Playmate. And they had a reality show together. So anyway, I rolled back in and it felt so good to get back into the Playboy Mansion after like a 3-year ban with Too Short, going to the Playboy Mansion and driving and getting in there. And then I remember when I went back in after 3 years, I was like, oh, it lost some of the luster. It fizzled out a bit. It wasn't as crazy, but it was still amazing.
Yeah, but it was the late 90s, early 2000s. It was,
my goodness.
Dude, you could just sit on those pillows at like 3 a.m. They would bring out the second party, you smoke a joint, just drink, and it was just eating. Like, I just remember having prime rib at 3 a.m. and it was so fresh.
You know what's crazy about that too? I just realized something as you're telling me that. I think I've been so spoiled because we live in this Hollywood bubble of the most beautiful women all come to LA. So everywhere you look are just these aesthetically beautiful, pleasing women. So you'll go to the Playboy Mansion, like you said, it's probably more than 4 to 1. I'd argue it's 6 to 1.
I think you're right.
And you'd sit there and you're looking around at the most beautiful women from America that all came to make it, aspiring playmates, working playmates, whatever, and they're all there, and you're sort of the, you know, oh, that guy, they're all talking, oh, that's the guy from Scream, oh, that's the scary movie guy, so you're just a star in there, and you're the young guy next to old wrinkly Rick, and after that, where do you go from there? Back into the real world? Like then you go to the Cincinnati fucking bar, and
that's what's fucked, and that's why we're fucked up. And it's like that's why we're talking about the marriage. And it's like at the end of the day, I think I would be a good husband, possibly, and you too, because we have lived, and
we got it out of our system, so to speak. I know.
Well, no, it's like it's like no. I mean, I'm still like, it's weird. It's like I was telling some of my friend the other day. It's like, because like yoga pants are everywhere.
I love those things.
But dude, it's almost like I think the government's putting them here. I mean, like everybody is, you know, I'm not allowed to say that, but, and I'm like, so, but I'm at the point now where it was like before you'd see yoga pants and you'd be like, what's up? You know, like, you know, checking coordinates. Where's she going? Right, you know what I mean? Right. So I can't say that. So now it's like I can appreciate it, the female form, but I don't have to like go and try to like talk to her or get her number.
I'm not good at that. You know,
no, I was never that guy anyway.
I was never that, and I think another reason we're fucked is because we have been fortunate enough to be somewhat recognizable. To where now, anytime you meet a woman in this town, you have to assume, wait a minute, is she after Jamie Kennedy, or is she after me as a person, or who the persona that I am and the opportunities I can give them? So you always got to be a little reserved about letting someone in, which makes me closed off as a human, and I want to be open and let everyone in, but then you get hurt because you let the wrong people in this town that are toxic. So now I've become closed off as a human being, and then you travel around the country and people recognize you, and it's sort of this fake, you know, weird, and now how people roll up with their phones on you, hey man, you're on my Snapchat, without asking. It's a whole new world. It's a whole new world.
Fuck
it used to be like, can I please have a photo with you? I remember the days it used to be, can I have an autograph? That doesn't exist. The new autograph is Snapchat. You know, on camera. It's a different world.
Yeah, no, like people just, you'll end up being on somebody's shit without even knowing. You're like, whoa, did you just document that?
Rats.
Yeah, dude, it's so true,
We're infested with rats.
Charlie Murphy, God rest his soul, he said that. He said, we live in a snitch culture.
He's absolutely right. He was a funny motherfucker, dude.
Legend. But think about what you just said. He is a legend, by the way. But it's what you just said is the rats. What, do people really understand what that means? It's like, see, that's when I came to Hollywood. It was a time of, it was a club. And you tried to get in. And now I think the club has been reported on. And listen, there's been bad things that have happened in that club, but there's also been wonderful things that happened in this club. I was talking about the Playboy Mansion. We were talking earlier. I never saw any weird shit there. I saw people expressing themselves. I never saw anything weird. So, but now people, there's a whole culture of documenting that. And then going out and putting that
and
somewhere.
Sharing it.
And going like, look at these fucking freaks.
And it's not only documenting it, which in itself is crazy. Now they will put it on a platform to broadcast it to the world and not care that they're sabotaging someone's personal space and business. It's a whole different world. And I'm having a hard time adjusting to that one, but yet I use the social media, but I do feel like I have this code where if I like film somebody on my story or something, I'll be like, do you mind if I post this before I do? And people say, oh, that's so nice. Nobody ever asked it. People just post without asking. And I don't like that. I think there should be etiquette and rules to it. But nowadays, I don't feel like there's any rules. The gloves are off and everyone's free to just film anything. It must be a hard time to be a criminal. Like being cops and robbers, it probably used to benefit the robbers because of technology, but now the cops, dude. You ever watch like First 48 or any of these shows with cell phone pinning? Like they can tag exactly where you were and Google finds it. You can't do shit no more. So I feel sorry for you bank robbers out there. Must be a tough time to rob a bank.
Yeah, bro.
You ain't getting away with that shit no more. It's not 1987, dog.
No, you can't.
You know?
Sympathy for the robbers.
Yeah, dude. So, okay, so tell us what's next on the horizon, or where can people, I'm not sure, this will probably air within a month, so it's the summertime. What about your tour schedule or any projects?
So you want to know about comics? Simon had no idea I was a stand-up comic an hour ago. I love this. So I'm on the road, but I just actually shot a special.
Oh, good.
So hopefully I'm gonna sell it to one of the big places.
Okay, good.
So I shot that. It's called Can I Say That? I did a part in this movie called Trick, which is a horror movie with Omar Epps as the star.
Okay.
Hopefully that's gonna come out in the fall. I got a small part in Ad Astra. It's a Brad Pitt movie.
Great.
And that's coming out, I believe, in the fall.
You said you're an extra in that? Or add a...
Add extra.
Right.
And then,
Dude, that's
well, it's
great.
going to be with BP, so you know I'm going to. It's all BP. And then I pop up. What's up?
Yeah.
So you got that. And then, I'm out there just
You're out
auditioning
there,
for
bro.
guest spots.
I love it, baby.
You know what I mean? For streamers.
And what about social media? What's your handle so people could stalk you?
At Jamie Kennedy, Jamie Kennedy on Facebook. I don't know.
Just
Snapchat.
Jamie Kennedy.
Yeah, but Jamie Kennedy on Instagram because someone stole my name.
I got to be honest with you, bro. I big fan, big supporter. I apologize. I didn't know your up to date stand up
Come on,
routine.
that's funny.
It's funny.
No, it's funny.
And I've always thought you were a great dude, and I'm so happy you made it in here. And I wish you continued success. And I think I may be mistaken. You probably have a big dick because you have big dick energy.
Oh, BDA?
I feel like you got big dick energy because you have a calm, subtle way about you that doesn't try too hard. You're not overcompensating with muscles, no offense, steroids, tattoos, acting. I feel like you have a big dick. On that note, thank you.
So much. We can compare heads later.
Thank you, brother. Hey, I love you, Jake.
I love you,
You're the
dude.
man.
I'm a fan back at you.
Thank you, brother.
Thank you.
Yeah.